You don't have to buy so much. Take it easy. Just relax. People are going in and they're buying more. I remember, I guess during the conversation, Doug of Walmart said that they're buying more than they buy at Christmas. Relax. We're doing great. It all will pass.
What's going on? I'm your host, Talking Face, and this could be news brought to you by Royal Family Studios. The coronavirus is out, and it is scaring everybody, to the point where they're buying up all the toilet paper. All of it. Even though the disease is an infectious disease that pretty much acts like the flu. And the CDC says the best way to prevent from this disease is to, practice good hygiene, like washing your hands, not touching your face, stuff like that. But everybody apparently believes that it's going to give you explosive diarrhea. During this whole time, a lot of people have been expressing their disdain for President Trump and how he's treating the disease. I can understand one reason why they may be upset, because when he first spoke about the disease, he was kind of nonchalant about it, not knowing how serious it really was. But that's because the left-leaning media kind of, I don't want to say jumped the gun, but they freaked everybody out. This freak out crashed the market. It's been dropping steadily by like 3,000 points a day. I mean, it has its upticks, but it's been dropping. But another reason why they're upset is because of travel bans. He banned, at first, people from entering from China, and then he said, you know what, we're probably going to slow up the travel in Europe too, specifically Italy. Now, if you don't know, Italy has suffered major losses because of this disease. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders had a couple of things to say about it. Never letting a good crisis go to waste. That's the motto.
We will lead by science. The World Health Organization now has officially declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Downplaying it, being overly dismissive, or spreading misinformation is only going to hurt us and further advantage the spread of the disease. But neither should we panic or fall back on xenophobia. Labeling COVID-19 a foreign virus does not displace accountability for the misjudgments that have been taken thus far by the Trump administration.
It is not xenophobic to say that we're not going to let in certain countries that are having a larger outbreak than other countries of this disease. I mean, it's plain to see that China and a lot of European countries, specifically Italy, are having a large number of cases of the coronavirus. And I could have sworn that y'all said that Donald Trump was racist because he didn't ban European countries at one point in time. Or am I tripping? Come to find out, experts said that Donald Trump banning those entries from those countries kind of helped contain the outbreak in the United States of America. Because if you don't remember, the whole H1N1 pandemic, Obama didn't pay attention to any of the signs until like a month later when 1,000 people had died already. But listen to what Bernie Sanders had to say. The socialist who a lot of Americans wanted to be president of the United States, which still doesn't make sense to me. But when asked about the coronavirus and how he would handle the situation, just listen to what he says.
We're going to move on to the next audience question, but if you had to, would you close down the borders?
No. I mean, what you don't want to do right now, we have a president who has propagated xenophobic anti-immigrant sentiment from before he was elected. What we need to do is have the scientists take a hard look at what we need to do. There are communities where the virus is spreading. What does that mean? It may mean self-quarantining. It may be not having public assemblies. But let's not go back to the same old thing. Isn't it interesting that a president who has been demagoguing and demonizing immigrants, the first thing that he could think about is closing down the border? So we need scientists to tell us the appropriate approach, not a political approach.
Okay, let's.
Even if it would help, he wouldn't do it because Trump has shown that that's racist and it's racist to do it. I don't think the Democratic nominees know what it means to be president. Your first priority is the American people and our safety because you're the president of the United States. Take care of home first. And why is it every time asked a question about what you would do, Bernie Sanders, you always talk about Trump? Makes no sense. But honestly, Trump has been doing a pretty good job. He's trying to stay out the way if y'all would let him and let the experts handle it. He let Mike Pence be the head of this whole situation and operation. So if you have a question, go to Mike Pence about it. Because Mike Pence is going to the experts about it. There's nothing that he can do about this pandemic. It is out of his control. If y'all want to blame anybody, blame China. Because it's their fault that the Wuhan flu is loose. And I know people say that's racist.
The other thing, Chris, that I think we should point out, at one point during this address, the president referred to the coronavirus as a, quote, foreign virus. That I think was interesting because as I was talking to sources earlier this evening, one of the points that the president wanted to make tonight, wanted to get across to Americans, is that this virus did not start here, but that they're dealing with it. Now, why the president would go as far as to describe it as a foreign virus, that is something we'll also be asking questions about. But it should be pointed out that Stephen Miller, who is an immigration hardliner who advises the president, is one of his top domestic policy advisors and speechwriters, was a driving force in writing the speech. And I think it's going to it's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia.
It is xenophobic to tell the truth, apparently. That's not racist. That's just where it originated from. I know the news media wants you to believe that just because Donald Trump or others saying that it's a foreign virus, that's wrong, but no. We usually name diseases from where they come from. Think like Ebola. And if you don't believe that the Chinese people are at fault about it, just do the research on the coronavirus. Stop freaking out. Honestly, we're handling this situation pretty well. Certain major cities have been quarantined, practicing moderate social contact. CDC is saying be in groups of less than 10. I just want y'all to take a deep breath and calm down. A couple facts that you need to know about the coronavirus. One, the people who are mostly at risk are the elderly and people with pre-existing conditions and diseases, like diabetes. Another thing y'all need to know, it is kind of hard to get if you practice good hygiene. Make sure you wash your hands, don't touch your face, don't sneeze on anyone. If you're feeling sick, stay at home. Don't go to work, don't try to go to school, don't go to the grocery store, stay at home. Be respectful about everybody else's safety. Y'all do not have to buy everything in the store. Leave some things for like the elderly who actually need it. The U.S. government has already taken precautions and they're working on getting more kits for testing, and they're working on a vaccine rigorously in many countries. Everyone is working around the clock. Everybody is not going to get a testing kit, especially if you don't need it. They already said if you feel any symptoms or anything like that and you're of good health, just stay at home for a couple weeks. Let it run through whatever. Really, I'm just kind of worried about small business owners because they're probably going to feel it the worst. A lot of people are going to lose jobs. And before it gets better, a lot of people will die. It's not a high number right now, but it is going to get pretty high. They're saying that it should be over with, hopefully by July or August when it gets hotter, because they have noticed that in a lot of countries closer to the equator, the disease doesn't last that long. But don't go to hospitals. Don't fill up the hospitals. you're more likely to get sick there than at home. Stay safe, stay prayed up, and keep a cool head. I'm your host, Talking Face. Peace.